Hey all, today we're going to talk a little bit extra about isosceles triangles. So we talked about classifying triangles, and now we're going to talk specifically about those isosceles triangles. So we're going to add this to your flip book. On the outside, isosceles triangles, and then we'll draw an example of that, triangle ABC. And then inside we'll have the information about that isosceles triangle. So you can see the two marks here show you that angle B and angle C are congruent to each other. And these two marks show that segment AB and segment AC are congruent to each other. So up here in words that shows that the base angles are congruent. The base of an isosceles triangle is the side that creates those two angles that are congruent. And then we're just going to call the other two sides legs. And in an isosceles triangle, the legs are the sides that are congruent. So what we have here actually is the sides that are opposite from the angles that are congruent are also congruent. So you can see that this leg is across from this base angle. This leg is across from this base angle. So that's one way to figure out which angles are the base angles, or which sides are the legs. And we'll talk about that more in some examples. So make sure you add this to your flip book. So here I have this information given. I have that segment CD is congruent to segment CE, so I'm going to mark that up on my picture. CE and CD. That means that those two sides are the legs. And so if we look across from this leg and across from this leg, those are my base angles, and those are the angles that should be equal to each other. So since angle D is X, that means that angle E is also X. And these three angles should add to 180, so I can figure out the value of X by adding all three and making them equal to 180. I'll do some algebra, and I'll find out that X is 61. That means that angle D is 61 degrees, and it also means that angle E is 61 degrees. Let's do another one. Again, I have some information here that CD is congruent to BD. So those are my two legs. I can figure out which angles are the base angles by going across from those legs to those angles there. C and B are the base angles. So that means that since C is 69, B is also 69 degrees. So we're going to add angles C, B, and D together, and they should add up to 180. And if we do a little bit of algebra, we can figure out that X, or the measure of angle D, because they're the same thing, is 42 degrees. So I want you to go ahead and pause here and give this one a shot. So I told you that FE and GE are congruent. Those are the legs. That means the angles across from them are my base angles that are congruent. So just like in the first one we did, G and F are congruent. That makes them both X. So if I add X plus 25, they should add to 180. Do a little bit of algebra, and I'll find that X is 77.5. These angles are both 77.5 degrees each. So go ahead and answer this question. Make sure that you submit your answer online. It's just one question. Make sure you get full credit for this lesson.